Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to episode 28 of the Messy Truth Podcast.
Woohoo!
This is March.
Hey.
I'm coming
28.
to you from Montreal. Your turn, Nish.
Yeah, it's Nish. Nish is tired today, hailing from Kanakahage. Middle child issues today. But, working it out slowly but surely. What's going on down south, Oz?
This is Azar, recording from New York City, and I am excited about today's topic, ladies, because I feel like sometimes we don't celebrate ourselves enough, and I think today is a day of celebration and complaints. Let's just call it what it is. Celebration and complaints.
Got a few things to iron out. A few things.
Right? March is the month of women.
Yes.
Correct?
Women's Month, yep.
Women's Month. And so because of that, I think we want to talk a little bit about women. And what in specifically, ladies?
What women want.
What women want.
What women want men to know about them. Things we're about to give our male listeners some hacks when it comes to dealing with women.
And some female listeners. And some female trans listeners.
Yes,
yep.
All of the listeners. We want to give
all the
guys,
listeners.
Right. And I think we have like every reason to be talking about this because all three of us are women. We identify as women. We've had the female experience in various areas of our lives. And really, that's about as much as we're bringing to the table when it comes to when it comes to expertise. So please, everything we say, please take with a grain of salt. Although there is some research to back us up, but it's real like Google style research. So let's just keep it real. All right.
It's okay.
So
life hacks.
Let's get ahead of that.
Actually, I like to start by saying this is a serious tip, listener. So my apologies. I was always bringing that serious part sometimes. One, I want to say, because it's Women's Month, I definitely want to give our platform. No, what am I trying to say? I want to take our platform for a moment to highlight missing and Indigenous women who are still missing to this day, and racialized women who are still missing across the world, and our WNBA woman player who is still missing to this day out in I forget where, I don't remember, I'm gonna look it up, but these are,
you mean
like,
in
these
Russia?
are folks.
Brittany Griner?
She's still missing. And
for all the people out there who are not aware, the WNBA player Brittany Griner is currently imprisoned in Russia. She was alleged to have had some cannabis oil in a vaping product that she had in her luggage. Now, it's alleged because you're talking about this news coming from the authorities or the people in Russia, the same country who are currently invading Ukraine and are actually like peddling propaganda for their own citizens. We don't know whether these charges are actually real or not. We don't know if they're true. We don't know what sort of credibility there is behind this. But nevertheless, there's all this support for white Britney Spears, and I'm not dismissing the severity of her conservatorship. I think that is like pretty unfortunate, her situation that she endured. But this is a different Britney. This is a Black woman, a woman who is part of the LGBTQ plus community and who felt that she it was her job. She went over to Russia to play basketball. That's where she works when she's not playing basketball, during regular season in North America. The fact that you're not paid enough as a female athlete is another reason why the show is so important. So yes, I agree with you, Nesha. Definitely important to highlight that story.
Yeah, I just wanted to take that moment because, there are people out there who are in Canada and Edmonton who are dragging the river trying to find their loved ones. And there's their
mothers, their sisters, their aunties,
daughters, cousins,
everybody. Yeah.
And I also follow an Instagram about missing Black women, also an undervalued society, a group of people in society who, when they go missing, people don't really highlight it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just got to bring that up because we are talking about women, and oftentimes this is not highlighted nearly enough, that folks are missing. People are
Mm-hmm.
missing. Somebody gave birth to somebody who's missing. So this is
Yeah.
it's important. So on that note, I hate high heels. That's my first beef with being a girl. The expectations that a dude or a woman thinks I wear high heels. Fuck high heels. I don't like them. They're created by men. I don't care how they look. My calves look. I don't care if Sarah Jessica Parker wears them in Sex and City. I don't like heels. That's it. I don't think I should learn to walk in them. I think they're evil. And that's my beef with being a girl.
And not for nothing, I already told you I look like a baby giraffe when I wear heels. Like, I am not cute in heels. I mean, do I like the way they make my legs look? Sure. Do they lift my butt up? Absolutely.
Do
But
they? That's what they do?
I look crazy when I wear them. I literally am wobbly. I don't feel good. My feet hurt. That shit is just unnatural, B. Like, that's how I
I
feel
don't.
about them.
Yeah, I'm not in it. I'm not in it at all. Mar, are you down with the heels?
Here and there. On a normal day, I personally would not like heels, but I think it depends on the outfit, depends on the situation. They hurt my feet too, but sometimes I'm willing to go through the pain in order to endure it. But you know, it's subjective. Everybody feels differently about it. If you want to feel girly and the heels are part of your outfit, do what you need to do. Yeah, but I feel
how
you.
about
What's up?
how
What?
about I looked it up, and ancient Iran was the first known example of high heels.
It be your own people.
It be your own people, and it's the Persian army that wore the heels.
So the
I don't
males.
know. Yeah, that's
I'm
really
with it. Good for
Wow.
you.
I mean, yeah, I mean, okay, but apparently that's where it started. And I don't know if Google's just skewing this because I'm Iranian, but this is what I've come up with.
And
That
I
would
mean,
be
You never
funny.
know.
and there's been plenty of men that we've seen in the public eye that have worn heels, right? My favorite of all time, Prince, was like a huge heels wearer,
Absolutely.
right? He also wore leather pants with the butt cheeks missing, but that's a totally different style.
I think EJ Johnson wears them too. Magic Johnson's and Cookie Johnson's son.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
probably
I
does.
think
Yeah.
so too.
There's a lot of men who do that. A lot of men who do that. So, but nevertheless, look, we've got okay, let's go through some facts here. Women feel pain more acutely than men do. I totally agree with that. We go through having periods every month. Well,
Oh
most
yeah.
of us do. We go through a lot. Pain wise, we go through a lot. And I found in
agree.
my experience that there are a lot of men that cannot take pain the way that women do. Oz, you've given birth.
Let's talk about labor pain real quick.
Yeah.
Because, and mind you, I got an epidural. I got an epidural late in the game with Kane, but I got an epidural. I don't know how women do it without that shit. But I mean, I don't think I have ever felt pain like that ever. And I haven't broken any bones, but I've had some significant injuries. And I just remember telling my son's father at the time that, like, I refused to go through another contraction. I was like, I don't care what you're going to do. I'm not going to have another contraction because I am not bearing the pain of another contraction. It was the most illogical thing to think at the time, but I was like, I'm not doing another one. I'm just not fucking doing it.
When you're in a lot of pain, there's a lot of crazy things that come out of your mouth.
But not
So,
only that, why is it anybody's choice whether you decide you want an epidural or not? Bitch, you are not pushing out another human being. So you have no say. And no.
Oh no, it was absolutely my say. I was just waiting.
Exactly.
I was just waiting to get it, but then when I wanted it, it just didn't come fast enough, and I just refused to go through. I was just like, no, I need the epidural now because I'm not doing that again. It was super painful. But when you say women go through pain more acutely, do you just mean we experience pain more than men do, or that we feel pain more than men do? Do you understand my question? Like, are you saying men have a higher tolerance? Because men do not have a higher tolerance.
No, we
agree,
have
right?
a higher tolerance for pain
Okay,
than
we
men
definitely
do.
have. Okay,
Physically,
cool.
we do. We do have a higher tolerance for pain. Yeah. So technically, we are stronger than men are.
Yeah. I mean, we are.
Yeah.
What can I tell you?
Well, I had kidney stones, and kidney stones is equated with giving birth, and I had it
Oh
not
God, I've
once,
heard.
not twice. I had it 3 times.
Oof.
And I'll tell you, those of you who are from Montreal might know something called Buffalo Bills. The last time I had kidney stones, it was me and Buffalo Bills, and the vomit was real. I will never eat
Oh
Buffalo Bills again.
no.
Actually, the guy thought I was drunk because I was puking outside of my brother's car on the car side door because kidney stones is like can be as small as a grain in salt and will tear your ass up. Tear
Mm.
your ass up. And I had it not once, twice, but like I said, 3 times. And I've been kidney stone free for about 5 years. When I even think that pain is coming, I get ready. I'm like, oh, no, no,
Oh
no.
my. That's
And I've
terrible.
heard it's the same as giving birth. Like it's that painful.
Damn. Oh,
Wow.
I can't even imagine.
Is it as
Uh,
bad as a cluster headache? Because a cluster headache's pretty bad.
Oh, that's right.
yeah. I don't
It's your
know. I'd
head
have to ask. I'd have to ask my
or
Google.
getting an IUD inserted inside of you in
Oh,
Oh
your
no.
reproductive system. Yeah,
Oh
oh,
no.
it's
no,
pretty rough
no.
too.
That's another thing. Let's talk about that. Like women have to go through contraception and
Although, did
men,
you see that they now have a birth control pill for men, or
I'm
it's
with
coming
it.
out?
I'm with it. Like I'm with it. Take it. Take it. Take it.
I just feel
Cuz
like part of the responsibility should be on the men. You know, the yes,
absolutely.
you
Well,
have the
yeah.
option of undergoing surgery for like a vasectomy and so forth, but that shouldn't be the only option. Women have tons of contraceptive options, right? But
Yeah.
men have like maybe just a handful. And
Yeah.
I feel
Because
like
they're not
this,
focused on it.
yeah,
Like
and I feel like
nobody's focused on them
a
getting
company
those
getting
appointments.
behind such a product for men is definitely what's needed right now.
Yeah.
I
So the
agree.
onus isn't solely on the women.
I agree
And if you
1000%.
know, just a fun fact, my gynecologist is a male. I actually really like him. I'm with him. I've been with him for many years. But a lot of at one point, female gynecologists were stonewalled in the profession, in that specialty of medicine. So my question is, who understands your body better? The person who
Right.
experiences it with you or the person who hypothesizes on what's going on? So my gynecologist specialist is a woman, and whenever we talk about my beloved gynecologist, who I love, we kind of laugh with each other because we're like, man, he don't understand what's going on over there. So, but for a long time, women, lady parts, periods, birth, all of that was dominated by male doctors, and I find that so interesting. Well, there's also the fact that once upon a time, women were considered not intelligent enough to harbor that amount of information to be doctors, right?
Boo! Boo! That's what I say.
My gynecologist is also a male, and he birthed most of my children. He was like, I don't know, on vacation or something when I had the last one. But I totally feel you, and I never even looked at it in that perspective. But I know that it looks like the trend is moving back towards midwives and like having women
A
who can
doula.
actually understand and experience a
Yeah.
doula who can um em- empathize with you and can feel the things that you're feeling or at least share that experience with you. I mean, it makes sense to me. And speaking about that, let's talk about wage disparity. This is a big one for me because you guys are going to be blown away by these numbers. I cannot even believe it because in 2020 the research that was done in the United States says that the gender pay gap is holding steady and that women are earning 84% of what men earn just in general. And now when you break this down into different industries, it's even worse. Listen to the pay gap, the pay disparity at just two music companies, and I focused on music because this is obviously my industry. The pay gap at Spotify is 15%. The pay gap at Live Nation is 34%, guys.
What,
Ooh.
a gap?
34%. Yes, the pay gap between men and women at these two companies. And some of the labels, I know that there was some research done in the UK. I don't know if this research was also done in the United States, but when I tell you, at Universal Music Group in the UK, women are paid 29.2% less than men. At Warner, it's 30%. And at Sony, it's 25.4%. But the shit gets ridiculous when it comes to bonuses. Bonuses, ladies, that's a little bit more subjective. Universal Music Group paid women 49.6% less than men. Warner, 65.6%, and Sony Music, 50.4% less than men for bonuses.
Sony, you tripping, Sony.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
It's not
nuts.
crazy. It's
Wild.
disgusting.
It's disgusting. I mean, come on. It's 2022. We're showing and proving some of like the biggest corporations are run by women. One who I mentioned the other day, the CEO of Pepsico. What's her name? I don't want to mispronounce her name. But I mean, she basically ran this company for years. And not only is she a woman, but she's also a minority woman.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find her name for everybody. And I believe she migrated from India, which is just amazing. I love recognizing, you know what I mean? People, women, minority women who especially migrated into, the United States or a European, whatever country, and are rocking and rolling.
And killing
I
the
love that
game.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
I'm still disturbed on the 50%.
Indra Nooyi. That's her name.
So,
And she was the CEO of Pepsi up until 2017. She killed that shit.
that's disturbing. That's disturbing. So, but you see, so let me get this straight. Let's break this down for listeners. Made me take my glasses off. So women are valued for being able to birth, but if we work, our value goes down. I don't even understand that whole logic in my head. I don't understand that logic. I really don't understand that logic. But,
What I think would be really great is if there were more courses available for women on how to negotiate, especially negotiating higher pay. I feel like, in terms of the career area, there's a lot of start and stop with women. You're starting out your career and then it stops because of, maybe medical issues or having to deal with raising your family.
Raising your family.
Yeah, and it's difficult because you're trying to find that perfect balance between pursuing your career but also taking care of kids. And the reality is that unless you have a husband who is active and very much involved outside of his own job and in the family, it's going to be kind of difficult. It's not like I say this from a Caribbean angle. Like, in the Caribbean, you have a lot of help. You've got an auntie, you've got a granny, you've got a bunch of people who are available to assist you with childcare and so forth. And unfortunately, in North America, that is not always the situation that people are dealing with. It's being able to have that time or have the help to take care of your child. If it's not anyone else helping you, then it's you. And so, this is a challenge for a lot of women who are coping with finding the right way to manage carrying on with your career while also looking after the kids and being able to have that respect from your own employers and making sure that they compensate you properly and give you compensation, not just in the form of a higher salary, which you do deserve. You do deserve more money, but it's also compensation in the form of flexibility with regard to your schedule and being able to take the days necessary for doctor's appointments or when your child gets sick or, when there's other things associated with the caring of your child. That is a reality. You have to do that. And I think we just need to get to a point in our society where more companies intentionally and consciously incorporate some more support in those areas for their women workers.
Mar, you touched on some great points. Sorry, Nisha, but even just maternity leave alone, right? I mean, if you think about the concept of maternity leave in the United States, up until just recently, I believe maternity leave was 6 weeks of short-term disability. Is that what it is? That I have a baby and now I am disabled to work?
Yeah, it's not. I was just gonna say it's not a
weeks.
disability. Like,
That's
what are you saying here? Disability?
Basically, because I'm not available to work for 6 weeks, but in postpartum, 6 weeks is nothing. That child is still a newborn infant at 6 weeks when women are expected to return to work. And it's just, and now I see that, the larger corporations, the companies are doing, I mean, Live Nation, for example, is giving 6 months, I think, maternity and
Live Nation
maternity
is also
leave.
paying 54% less. I don't know what's going on there.
I'm just saying, though, but companies are starting to kind of chip in versus Canada. I think in Canada, Canada generally gives 6 months at full pay and a year at.
Actually,
it depends on where you live.
Your profession.
And for all of its faults here in Quebec, mothers are offered a 1-year maternity leave, and they have the ability to extend it several months if needed. It doesn't mean that they will get compensated for those additional months, but they can do that if they can afford to and want to. And so,
but is the 1 year at full pay?
Well, not necessarily.
No, it's not.
It's a decrease of pay, right?
I think it's at like 75% of your salary, 6 months up to the date that you need to be on maternity leave. Is it 6 months or is it 6 to 12 months?
Well, I know so it's different in professions too. I wonder if it's because teachers are heavily in female dominated. But there's some teachers odds I haven't seen in years because they be birthing. Like I haven't seen for years. So normally, so teachers also get preventative leave. Like with COVID, we have 2 of our teachers who are out at full pay because it's not their fault that they don't know if COVID will hurt their child or not. So they're out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They're off for a year and they can extend, but that's not at any pay. But the first year, I believe it's like 75% for the year. For that's teachers, right? So I suppose that's one good thing happening in Quebec. I'll give it to them on that.
75% I think is standard across the province. So that's how much you're earning of your salary that you were paid. And here's the other thing: you cannot be fired when you go back. You cannot.
What do you mean? What if you do a shitty job? Then if
you do a crappy job, that's different. But the person, you cannot fire the mother for leaving
because she's pregnant.
Job because she's pregnant.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
While she's on maternity leave or afterwards. I mean, there has to be a really good reason. Did the company go bankrupt? Are you laying off? Are you downsizing? That's different. But you got to have a really good reason for letting go of the person who's on maternity leave.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, when the pandemic hit and everybody was forced to work from home, and this is how you know that no matter how much the man provides in a household, the brunt of the responsibility is on the woman. So women, only 37% of women said that they had positive work from home experience during the pandemic, while 79% of men said that they had positive work from home experience. And I wonder why that is. And there were a lot of memes. I don't know if you guys saw, but there were so many cartoons and memes of the man sitting at a home office,
chilling,
kicked up, chilling, drinking his coffee, taking his meetings, while the mom had like kids climbing on top of her, one hand on a computer, the other hand cooking. I mean, the shit is just not fair.
It's a lot.
It's just not. It
is definitely a lot.
It's just not equal.
And there's a lot of people who are more accepting of that happening to a woman as opposed to the man. There's a lot of double standards that we can definitely touch on this episode. That is one of them, that it's perfectly okay for men to not, or people expecting that men are just not going to care for the kids during the work from home situation as much as the women are. And that's like just widely, accepted or status quo. And it's like, clearly something needs to change there,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and it's not even necessarily with children. I mean, the double standard exists in all areas between these two individuals in the household, right? I've gone through that myself. I've accepted that I'm going to be the cook. I am the chef. I am the housekeeper. I clean, I cook, I do all of those things. I'm the one who's doing everything in addition to the other
Right.
stuff that I've got to do. So I can only imagine how a mom must feel,
Now imagine, just as women entered the workforce, right? We started sharing the workforce labor with men. But nothing changed in terms of the domestic labor. That's not being shared equally by men with
Yeah.
us. And that's a very interesting change that happened once women started entering the workforce, is that yes, now we're sharing the responsibility of the workforce with men, but men are not necessarily sharing the responsibility of housework with women. So it
It's
is
not just housework, but it's also driving your child to the daycare or bringing them
right.
to school or, attending games and going to different meetings with teachers. I mean, Nesha, you're the teacher.
You're making my
How many
uterus hurt.
fathers how many fathers do you see
Not
coming
a
to
lot.
parent teacher
Well,
meetings?
I mean, over the years, it's gotten better.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's usually the mothers who are quite, I hate to say this and throw the moms under the bus, but usually they're the ones who are a bit hysterical, like either, what are you doing to my kid? Oh my God, or what can we do? The fathers sit there like, uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. You don't hear too much participation. Um, but over the years, I've met some brilliant fathers, right? Like who are really in it. But is it a, but you see, I'm coming from a different perspective with the childcare now because I've got three men in my life who have interesting, volatile relationships with the mother of their children. And sometimes we don't make it easy to access the kid. And so I think sometimes dads make a different decision that we don't consider the decision because the narrative is like, you're no good, you're not in your child's life, na na na. But there's some shitty ass women out there.
There
There
are.
Oh,
are.
There are
There
absolutely.
some
are.
very toxic
And
women out
like,
there. Yeah.
I've seen it, right? Like I don't want to call any names because this is a local show, but I have three friends in particular who I'm like, yo, your baby mom needs a slap. Like, was the vagina really worth it? Because, yo, you're not cool. Like, I often tell parents, like, your children don't belong to you. They're yours for a certain time. So treat them well. And that means having both parents involved. As I mean, unless one parent is like, violent or abusive or sexually abusing them in some way. But ultimately, kids do well when they have when they have a good amount of people who got their back, and that's 20
Yeah.
years, right? Like some of the best students I've seen, it's when they have a village around them, right? And the gender doesn't matter. But I have to say to folks, and I don't want this to come off wrong, but you need both sexes present in a child's life. You don't like, you need it. They need that balance. It doesn't mean you have to be in a heterosexual relationship, but surround your kids with people with different people because they need
Hmm.
it. They need it. Like the things that come out of their mouths sometimes in class, I'm like, oh, clearly you haven't been around somebody. But yeah, I mean, even I teach sex ed, right? And so the things that girls say, self-identified girls say versus self-identified males, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like the way certain dudes picture sex at a young age and the way women picture sex at a young age, man, that's bad. It's really bad. Like I don't like they just yeah, I don't know. It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing.
Well,
So it
I was gonna
is.
I was gonna say we can get into that aspect of sexuality and sexual education. Um, I just find that, there needs to be a little grace for a lot of the young people out there under the age of 18, maybe even a little bit over the age of 18, because they're working with what has been given to them, you know?
Exactly.
And I think what you brought up is a really important point, that it does take a village to raise a child, right? You don't just need the mother, you also need the father. You need multiple figures in this child's life in order for them to get all of the tools, the resources, the emotional intelligence and maturity in order to grow up and be a functioning adult. Try to be a normal functioning adult. But
Yeah.
in terms of sexual knowledge, it's a lot of kids that are operating off of the same things that we did, which is lack of conversation with their parents, or they're getting it from like porn.
Secondhand information. Mm-hmm.
They're getting it from
And
porn,
speaking of, our lovely guest, Charlene, I was watching Married First Sight. All of you know I'm a big fan of reality TV. And Olajuwon, who's one of this season's episode, he's married to Katina. Yo, when I see this dude on screen, I want to slap him. The way he talks about women, like his wife, he talks about her like, I don't think you're up to my standards. And he'll say it like his hand movements. You're not up to my standards. Like, I want a partner who cooks and cleans and's got my back. And I'm like, who told you this shit? And that's the kind of thing that perpetuates, even in my own, like, I love my husband, but I leave garbage outside of our door. I do it on purpose. I can take my ass in the elevator and bring the garbage down. But just because I get home earlier or just because I work from home does not mean that I should teach children who make me crazy despite loving them, work with clients, do podcasts, clean, cook, make the bed, do the no,
and
that's
be a
no.
sex machine.
And be a sex machine, which that part I enjoy. But no. So
but
I
in order for you to be the optimal sex machine, you need
I'm
help in
tired.
other areas. Yeah.
Exactly.
And maybe this is the first piece of advice we can offer to, some of our listeners out there. If
Don't
you're
do everything.
Yeah, if you're interested in having more of that intimacy, you've got to figure out why your wife or your girlfriend is not interested or is too tired. It's because she really is tired. It's because she's trying to balance and juggle all of these other aspects of her life. And it's really difficult to do that when you've worked a 9 to 5, if that is your work shift. When you have done that, when you're trying to also look after the kids, when you're also managing laundry and cleaning and trying to do a whole bunch of other domestic responsibilities. And that's not even including the other stuff that has to be done outside of the house, And so it's a lot. And it can affect you.
We gaslight ourselves, right? So I consider myself pretty feminist, pretty woke, whatever. But I also have a mom who took care of us really well. That wasn't a gender thing. That was my mom saying she took care of us. And I found myself, and there's some women who are like, I love to take care of my husband. Don't get me twisted. I love taking care of my husband, but I don't have to do it. I choose to do it. And if I choose to stop doing it, I don't want you getting your boxers in a twist. Like, that's my choice. People ask me all the time, well, Nesha, you're so self-empowered, but you often follow your husband's lead. Yeah, I choose to follow his lead if the choice he's offering makes sense to me. Right? It's not, oh, I follow his lead because that's my husband. Nah. That was never me. I found a man who's worthy for me to put my trust in. But that does not mean that you should feel like this is my obligation, right? These are my choices. These are my acts of, my husband's love language is acts of service. So I understand that's his love language. But my love language is quality time. So you've got to balance. If I do acts of service or some of them, you got to do some of them to give me the quality time. You got to understand how that game goes. So, like I said, tons of recycling just waiting for him to come home outside of the door. But I'll do everything else, right? I got your lunch ready for the week. Your dinner is done.
Yeah.
Clothes are full. Like, but you got to do the laundry. I hate laundry, by the way. I hate it. And I hate recycling. So,
You work out a deal with your partner. That's what it comes down to. Like you mentioned this guy on the reality TV show Married at First Sight.
oh, he needs
If
a
he
problem.
wants a wife who is more of a domestic goddess, that's his right. He has every right to ask for
But it's
that.
also he puts the worth of a woman in that. That's the issue.
Okay, he needs a little bit of education, but I'm saying that for now, that's what he wants. This is what he desires based on how he was brought up. There's nothing wrong with wanting that if that is where you place value in your partner. You just need to make sure that you get the partner that is on the same page as you when it comes to those things. Because there are women out there. I've had this discussion many times with other women that not
Who
everyone
want to
is
be
a career
homemakers.
person. Not everyone is a career person. Not everyone is a homemaker. You need to find the right woman who's willing to work with you and on a long term basis on how you want to proceed with that. But I mean, it's kind of like it's just kind of like you just got to figure out what you want to do with your partner. You need to have a conversation with
Yeah.
them. You
I
know.
think the problem is too, as I was trying to say, we gaslight ourselves, right? Like there's this thought in our head, like this is what a woman does, right? And this is, what a wife does, and this is what a partner does. And that's something else that I think is really fucked up for women, right? Like you don't have to put any pressure on us people because women do that
We
shit
do it
themselves.
ourselves. Yeah.
Between, I remember Oz was talking about the filtering, and I was like, really? Like, y'all don't see Oz, but to me, my Oz is mad cute. She's a beautiful girl. So I was like, why would she filter? But I get it, right? Because the industry tells us that this is what beauty looks like, right? And it's very Eurocentric, it's very Western. It doesn't incorporate femininity or different types of femininity. I watch a lot of Korean shows. They have their own standard of beauty too. I watch a lot of these different shows, and I think everyone's got their standard, but it always involves women competing against each other, right? There's no encouragement for women to be like, yo, you look good, sis. Like, and they don't do that. So that's something that I find really interesting. Like we gaslight ourselves if we're not taking care of our things that it's expected of us to take care of. Or that question that people ask me, like my mom, I love her, but she says, you really just don't want kids. Why is that a big deal? Like, why? Is it because my only function in life, my only celebrity, my only legacy is to have children? It's a very interesting pressure. Even before I got married, people were like, "Oh, you got your PhD. That's great. When are you getting married?" Yo, do you know how hard it is to get a PhD? Do you know how many
Yeah.
hours I had to write? How much drinking I did? It was a lot of work. It was. It was a lot of work. I love my husband, but he could never share his last name on my PhD live. Never. You did not write that. It did not come from your brain cells. You did not get a brain muscle spaz from that. I did. That's my accomplishment. And I didn't become even more valuable after I got married. I was already valuable from the moment I decided
Before.
I was
Yeah.
valuable, right?
Amen.
So
Yeah.
it's
I
very,
love to hear it.
but we gaslight ourselves a lot, a lot.
It's true.
Women,
Not only ourselves though, this society definitely helps.
oh
Society
yeah,
pushes the narrative on us all the time. Like, what it means to be a whole woman, and what that means
exactly.
is to be attached to like a successful man and to have kids and to hold down family and blah 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 blah. But I will tell you, listening to you guys, I learned a lot just now. And one thing that I've been doing entirely wrong my whole life is that if a man didn't do something the way that I wanted it to be done, I would just fucking do it. And guess what happens? Guess what
You
happens?
keep doing
You
it
start.
You
yourself.
keep doing it. Yeah. You own it now. It's all yours.
It's a pass. They took the fucking pass and fucking ran with it. They're like, oh, okay. And it's easy to learn from that behavior. Like, hey, let me just not do it her way. And then that bitch is going to get the whole thing done. And literally, this has been my exact error probably in every single relationship. Like, yo, if I don't like the way you're washing dishes, move out the way. I'm gonna wash those dishes. If I don't like
Move,
the way you
bitch.
clean,
Get out the
right?
way.
But guess who ends up washing all the motherfucking dishes at the
Yeah.
end?
Yeah,
You.
I've been in
Blame
that boat
myself.
as well. I'm the same way. I'm the exact same way. I asked you once, I asked you twice. Don't tell me to ask you nicely. I done asked you twice.
Nice was before twice, baby.
Yes. Yes. And now I'm doing it. Now I'm handling it. Yeah.
So, fun fact to get out of our moans and groans, men and women see color differently. This is so dope.
Ooh.
So, I was checking out facts, like fun facts, and it says, do males and females see color differently? So, we don't really see eye to eye. According to research, females are better at discriminating among colors, while men excel at tracking fast moving objects. This is the reason why I don't like driving. This is exactly why I don't like driving, because driving gives me a high amount of anxiety because I have to pay attention to so much. But show me something I like and I can tell the difference, right? I watch this new show on Netflix. Is it Cake? I'd be checking out those cakes and guessing correctly. But yeah, so men and women see color differently. Apparently, our eyes are more sensitive to color. I'm with it. I'm okay with that. So I
We're
think it's
also
kind of
more
cool.
detail. We're also more detail oriented.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool.
This also comes back to the show. I don't remember which show. One of our game shows where we asked
Oh,
about
Fluster.
our stereotypes, and I had a point with my issue with women drivers, ladies.
I don't remember that because it was never in our show.
I have to admit, I started
Outtakes.
learning to drive
Yikes.
late, and because of it, I don't enjoy driving.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm a decent driver. I've had a couple of little faux pas here and there, but blame it on the fast-moving objects.
So I have
Keep it moving. Let's
I have
go.
some other fun facts. Men typically have thicker skin, about 25% thicker skin than women. They have a higher density of protein collagen. Whatever.
Oh wait, they legitimately have thicker skin, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why these motherfuckers age, and they don't age as fast as women age, right? Like when men, like they just don't like wrinkle up as quickly as us because our skin is thinner.
That would also explain their ability to hide their fat better, like the subcutaneous fat. The
Fuck their fat.
what do you call that? The
cellulite.
The cellulite. Yes. They don't have those issues. They don't have those issues.
Fuck
I'm sure
their
a
fat.
lot of testosterone, a lot of things in there all are all
Well,
included.
another fun fact is the difference in density goes beyond skin deep. Usually men have denser, stronger bones, tendons, and ligaments than women, but they can't give birth, so fuck
They
it.
also
I
have
don't care.
denser brains. You know what I mean?
I didn't say all that. You said all that. I didn't say all that. I didn't say all that. Okay, here's another fun fact, and I think I know why. Between the ages of 14 to 51, women typically need more iron than men. Well, yeah, we menstruate. Y'all don't menstruate. So
yeah, you're not losing blood on a monthly
on
basis.
average, men typically have more muscle mass than women. Fine,
Yeah,
who cares?
It's expected.
You know that.
The second longest finger for women is next to their thumb, the index finger, but the men, it's the opposite. Usually their ring finger next to their pinky are longer than their index finger. That's because
My middle
they,
finger
you
is
know
really
why?
long.
You know why? Because they need a longer way to get married to slip the ring on, right? So
I
they're
just
like,
flipped us the bird. 2 birds.
One for each of you. I love you.
not for us. There's a difference in the way our brain is structured, how we process information and interact with chemical signals. So for example, men have more information containing gray matter, whatever, but women have more white matter, which connects different parts of the brain. Women also have bigger memory centers than men. I totally believe that 100%. I have a fantastic brain.
This is why men never remember their lies and basically tell on themselves.
Exactly. So a woman's, I don't even know how to say this word.
Again, detail oriented.
So men are more likely to be night owls, but women function better during periods of sleep deprivation. Yo, we're
What?
created
No,
no, because you
bro.
know why?
I
Because we
need
get up
sleep.
and take care of kids when they cry because we have the
We have
milk.
no choice. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a lot
During
of sleep
exercise,
deprivation and I don't have children and I
I don't
do
function well without
function
sleep.
better than others do. Yeah,
I
I'd
don't
agree
function
with that.
well
I
without
don't
sleep.
function well without sleep either.
I'm not saying
I've been
function
doing it for
well. I'm
years.
just saying better than other people who might be sleep deprived and try to function.
So,
I've been
women
subpar for years.
women burn fat during exercise. Men burn carbohydrates. Who cares? That's your problem. Calorie requirement is higher for men than women. Who cares? Okay. So, Mar, this is something you'd be interested. Men and women carry different amounts of body fat. The higher body fat in women, about 10%, mostly supports reproductive physiology. Oh, so if our body fat gets too low, we stop menstruating. So that's the tip for everybody who's trying to stop menstruating, get your body fat under.
Got it.
And we carry it in our hips.
Mhm.
According to my Apple Watch, my body fat is sitting not Apple Watch, my Samsung Watch. My body fat is sitting pretty at around 40%. This
I don't
feels
want to
high.
talk about I don't want to talk
Is
about
that
that
high?
because remember I told you about the
40%?
machine? 40% is pretty high. But
It's
remember,
high, right?
Miranda made me get that machine that lies to me on a regular basis.
Sweetheart, I did not
So,
make you get anything.
well, you encouraged me. You
chose.
encouraged me to
You
get it.
chose to get the
All
smart
of a sudden,
scale.
you're not choosing.
You
right?
encouraged me
You
to get it.
chose.
And
did
I
not.
shouldn't talk too loud because it might hear me. But lately we've been synced. Like I've been losing weight, which I'm happy. Go to Kenya if you want to lose weight.
Damn it.
And so my body fat is dropped. And I swear the machine is like, I swear it says, can you do it again? Because it doesn't believe that I dropped those 3 pounds. And it's like, do it
This
again.
machine is toxic as fuck.
That machine,
bro.
it gaslights me on a regular basis. At one point, Mr. Z hid it from me because I was on it every day. And he was like, no, you can only take it out once a week. And I was like, where is it? And I got really mad. I was like, it's not yours. It's not your money. Give me my thing back.
Dang, son.
Yeah.
Why you gotta go there?
Because it's mine.
Relax.
It's our relationship with Chucky, the weight machine.
Chucky. You gave it the name Chucky.
Shh, it's listening. Shh. So here's something good for us. Women typically have lower blood pressure than men, regardless of race or ethnicity. I'm with it.
I can attest to that. And I have a good reason for this. Because we need more room for our blood pressure to rise because of men and children.
So another fun fact for us, men are less likely to seek regular medical checkups. And when they go to the doctor, they're more likely to hide or lie about their symptoms. So let's pause there. Love my husband, but I am the master of medical appointments. I am the one who says, oh, today we're going to the doctor's. And he'll look at me and say, oh, okay. I am the one who controls that. Although he's very proactive, I'm the one who controls the appointments, the dentist, the vaccinations, all testing, all blood tests. I do it all. And studies show that men live longer when they're married.
Because women do those things.
Because women probably take care of the appointments.
Can
doctor,
we talk about that a little bit more? The whole
about doing the appointments?
No, about men living longer in marriage.
I'm scared.
I know the statistic, and here's the thing that I've also known over the years, and I have read this as well. It's scientifically proven. There's no added benefit to women getting married. Their lives do not extend longer. Only the men experience the benefit of added years to their life. It does not work in reverse for the women.
This is amazing.
Isn't
that interesting? It makes tons of sense because we just talked about how the women are usually the ones in charge of domestic chores, right? That includes cooking. women are more likely to have, they're more mindful with regard to diet, at least if it's cooking for their partners. Not all women, but some women, right? Most women, I'm willing to assume. And I believe that conscious form of wellness then is a benefit to the husband, because usually if a man is on his own, he's likely going to be ordering out. He's not going to be cooking at home. If he's very fitness oriented, he'll probably engage in a lot of meal prep and that sort of thing. But again, that is usually when they're on their own and they're conscious about what they're putting into their body for fitness reasons and for health reasons. As you get older and you're married and have children and so forth, or if you're in a long-term committed relationship and you're with your partner, it's very likely that you're not going to concentrate as much on making your own meals in a very healthy fashion. And so women, this is just my theory, I think that women are the ones who are helping to extend the lives of their husbands or boyfriends longer. And just like you said, Nesha, you're in control of the medical appointments in your family. That's the case for a lot of women. They're the ones who are encouraging their husbands to go see the doctor, whereas men, if they leave it up to themselves, it's just like nothing's wrong, And I've said this before on the show. Men will work on everything else
but that
before they focus on the stuff they need to, especially their careers. They will focus on their careers. They will focus on landscaping. They will focus on getting a car. They will focus on home renovations before they even think about going to see a doctor or think about going to see a therapist, talking with a professional.
Oh, let's not get that with a therapist.
It's just not, unfortunately, within their wheelhouse. It's like the pie. 3/4 of the pie is dedicated to work. It is all about career and work.
So let me ask you a question. Is there any correlation with women living shorter?
Yes.
So women live shorter when they're married?
Yes, I'm just looking it up right now.
Damn, son.
I know.
Sorry, guys.
I know.
Wait, women live shorter lives when they're married?
Yeah, I remember reading it. I'm just reading the study now. Yeah.
Oh my God.
This is not good. This is not good.
Just don't get married.
We also experience happiness differently. When men feel angry, they're more likely to vocalize it, while women internalize and direct the anger at themselves. I'm not directing anger at myself. I'm just giving you the silent treatment.
Men vocalize their anger a lot more?
Well, they probably have outbursts.
Yeah, they probably tantrum.
Right?
You know what my theory is? Another theory. I think that men also internalize a lot of stuff to the point where they have erratic outbursts. And that's where the tantrums come in. Because they're spending so much time working on their careers instead of their own personal development.
So science backs it up. Unmarried and childless women are the happiest subgroup in the population. They are more likely to live longer than they're married and child-rearing pairs.
Wow.
Oh, man. Oh, gosh.
There you have it.
Womp womp right here.
There you have it. There you have it. So if we had to give some advice for our listeners with regard to women, what would we want them to know?
Don't
if you're gonna get married,
and don't get married. That's it.
Okay, or maybe get married later in life.
And don't get a smart scale.
Yeah, no. Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
That's really discouraging news. I gotta tell you.
Let's just break this down. I, in my 40s, made a decision to get married to come out of the happiest subgroup.
Basically, you did that to yourself. Nobody put a gun to your head. Just like that scale.
Just like the smart scale. You chose
I don't want to talk about that scale.
You chose
These are your choices. Your choices, Nesha.
Oh gosh.
Listen, I don't this we deviated a little bit, but I just want to say, really at this point, given all the facts, right? I want to say, stay single, don't have kids, move to a country where they pay you the same amount of money as men get paid, check out all the colors and wear a variety of them since you can tell the difference and nobody else can. And, just live it. Live your life to the fullest, man. Enjoy your life. There you go.
So I'm looking at Pew Research, which is a reputable American research center, Pew Research Center.
Yeah.
And there I'm looking at where women are better, where could women live to have the best lives. So we're going to see what the research.
Is Sweden one of them?
It's cold there. No one's going there.
Oh, okay, all right.
No one likes that. It's cold. So it would appear where women have the best lives. Come on, let's see. So it says both men and women are dissatisfied with the state of the world. Well, at least we're on that page. So it looks like women. No, that can't be. No. So the least confident about the next generation's prospects are what? Okay, give me a second here. Let's go back to high heels.
Where do we want to live, Nesha? Where do I have to move? Just get to the point.
It probably is Sweden or Norway.
No, Sweden.
It's not.
Gotta be. Scandinavia always wins. Always.
Oh, man.
Oh, South Korea. No, I'm sorry.
What?
Mexico, Honduras, and South Korea.
Yo, I'm not mad. South Korea.
I'm with South Korea.
That's a lie. There's no way. No.
I'm looking at where women are significantly happier.
Yo, do you know how much plastic surgery you can get in South Korea, baby?
Happier.
Significantly happier.
Standard, though.
So, according to 38,000 interviews in 44 countries conducted by Pew Research Center for the Pew Global Attitude Survey, women reported more often than men that they had made progress in their lives. So they used, let's see, women's greatest satisfaction in life, 7 out of the 8 countries surveyed in Asia, 6 out of the 8 nations in Latin America, all the 5 nations in East and Southern Africa. And in particular, women are much happier than men in Japan, India, Philippines, Pakistan, Argentina, Honduras, South Korea, and even Venezuela. Yo, we need to move.
I'm not moving to Venezuela anytime soon. Are you mad?
Wow.
The political situation over there.
I'm okay with South
sketchy,
Korea, though. I'm okay with South Korea.
South Korea, I'd love to visit. Would love to.
I love their shows, so.
I'd go to Mexico.
Mexico's mad cheap, so we could live really good over there.
We could eat really good over there, too.
Oh my God, the food is really good. So, I don't know. I mean, that's what Pew Research Center shows us. So that's interesting.
So on the subject of menstruation, periods, that sort of thing, I would like to advise listeners to let your girlfriend nap and sleep in if she feels the need to, or girl or wife, whoever. I subscribe to Reddit. I'm on a couple of groups on there, and I'm part of a group. I subscribe to a group called No Stupid Questions. And there was a guy who actually asked the question about whether he should let his girlfriend, who had already been napping for 2 hours, continue to nap, given she was on her period. He got roasted in the replies, and which is kind of the antithesis of No Stupid Questions group. You're allowed to ask stupid questions, and that's totally fine. So roasting him doesn't really help the situation, but he was educated by others who commented, and what they told him was, women are, it takes a lot, and they're also experiencing a great deal of stress. They are, they're bleeding, they're in pain, they're bloated.
It hurts.
Yeah, and it can be very daunting on the body. And so all the more reason you should be going ahead and letting your girlfriend or your wife nap, sleep, doing whatever is necessary so that they can gain some rest.
I'm sorry. What's a nap? asking for a mom.
I sent the ladies some things in the chat. For those of you who are interested, they're really good things. They come from an article by Aubrey Hirsch called Vox. Women are increasingly unhappy, and this comic explains why. They're really, really funny. It's part of the happiness issue. And one of them says, going back to what we were saying, Scott Coltrane says, and although men's contributions have increased, women still do, on the average, more than twice the housework that men do, according to the leading family research. Right? And because women increasing participation in the workplace has not been met with the proportionally decreasing responsibility is at home. So we still doing work.
Yeah,
We
and that's
still
why we
doing
said
work.
that's why
Yep.
we said
Said
earlier,
that earlier.
another piece of advice. If you want to have, I guess, more pleasant experiences in the bedroom, help your wife out, you know? Like they always say, foreplay doesn't just start in the bedroom. It starts outside of the bedroom.
I can't even tell you how true that rings for me,
Yeah.
Miranda, because I know that I was actually physically turned on by a clean house,
Yes.
a cooked meal, like, you know, the go-getter, help me out attitude. I found a man so much more attractive when they were a true partner to me, as opposed to just like, you know, whatever, what he was wearing, or, you know, him like coming on to me. Like this is truly attractive to a working woman. Truly attractive.
And it doesn't have to be a big thing. Like it's just one little thing, you know, just one little thing. Doing the dishes properly, stacking the dishwasher with said dishes. I know, that's why I said properly.
Properly.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to redo dishes that you claimed you cleaned when you didn't clean them properly.
Not even a little bit.
It's, you know, maybe get your partner an iRobot vacuum.
Okay,
Lord,
don't listen to Mara's recommendation. I have an iRobot. My iRobot is very disobedient. Okay, that's like,
I'm just saying it goes a long way. I have an iRobot too. It goes a long way. Just pressing that one button and having it go around the house to pick up all of the little things on the floor.
Get your wife a maid, baby. That's it. There you go. Get her a maid. Get her a maid. Get her some help. And then you will have.
I won't lie. These are conversations that husband and I have. So when he comes home and he's like, "Oh, there's someone here cleaning." Yes. Too bad. Suck it up. Oh, okay. Okay, babe. Okay. You go nap. Yes, I'm going to nap.
Don't complain about that, because do you want to switch places with the cleaner to take care of the house? I don't think you do. So, you know.
Not for nothing. That's when I knew I had succeeded, guys. The day that I hired somebody to clean my house, I had made it. I made it.
Can I just say, though, back on this, like there's a part of me that has like some issues with getting help to clean the house, not the getting help part. Let me tell you about the chronicles of Nesha's social justice mind and the problems that go on in her head.
All right, I feel you already.
I know. I go to Kenya, and in Kenya, there is a maid, like somebody who does everything. Nesha is super uncomfortable with the maid. First of all, I'm uncomfortable with people touching my underwear. So that's one thing. Let's put that aside.
Why are they touching your underwear? Where's your underwear?
Because they do your laundry every day.
They do it all.
They do it all. And this is what they get paid for. But Nesha, coming from North America, was like, "Oh no, there's no post-slavery shit going on here." And I would never let her touch my stuff. She actually pulled me aside and she was like, "Please, like, it's a joy for me." I was like, no, I'm not oppressing you. No.
But that was different. Because there are no that there's no minimum wage or standard pricing in those societies.
Yeah,
There's
she's
not.
working. She's working hard for those dollars.
I know.
But in the but in the United Arab Emirates, it's the same issue. Like, everybody had help, and the help happened to be, you know, people from Sri Lanka and the Philippines who are sending money back to their family, and they're underpaid. They're poorly sheltered. It's abuse. It is definitely some kind of
weird thing going.
Post-slavery bullshit. But my person who came and cleaned my house probably made more an hour than I did in certain cases.
There's
so it's different.
There are some people who do that for a living.
Yeah, my grandmother.
They make good money.
So I did talk to other Kenyan women, and they're like, "Oh no, that means you made it. Like, if you can have help come into your house, you're good." And because they don't have the slavery, the North America slavery, you know, understanding, they don't see it the same way. So eventually I let her touch my clothes and iron my stuff, but I was highly uncomfortable. So fast forward to Canada. When I have somebody come in, I'm always stuck. If you listeners, you can help me here. I'm always stuck because I want to give my my jobs to racialized folks, but then I don't want racialized folks coming to clean my house because there's a part of me that's like, no, I don't want you doing this. But then I feel like if I don't give it to racialized folks, then I'm not. So I'm in this social justice dilemma every month.
Feel you.
Every month.
1,000%. I feel you.
Every month.
But to my point, the people who were coming to clean my house, the woman wanted to charge me $250, and that's where I had to draw the line. So you see, I'm telling you, this is why I know I had it made, and that I had freaking gotten somewhere in my life, because that shit ain't cheap. All right.
No, $250 is a lot.
I'm not paying nobody. I'm not paying nobody $250.
Look, I can't speak for racialized people in other countries, but I can say that with regard to here, you know, in North America, there are people who are racialized that are doing this job. And sometimes it's their own business. There's nothing wrong with that. If they are choosing to do that,
if that's their business,
good money.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
well, let's be honest. I'm coming from a woman who cleans houses for a living, right? My grandmother and my mother both do that.
But that's what I'm saying, is that not every person who is doing the cleaning or who operates that business is doing it with an eye towards like what is fair and just with regard to race. They're doing their job because it's their business. You know, there's a few people who I know that do that for a living. It is their company. That's their form of entrepreneurship. So
I know.
I don't think you can constantly look at it from the perspective of relying on people, racialized people, for domestic duties. We're at a point in our society right now where people of many different races operate these types of home cleaning businesses, and more power to them. More power to them. Guys,
on that note, this has been so fun, so entertaining to air out our grievances about being women in this society and many others. And I would love to hear from our listeners. You know, is there anything that you have issues with or that you want to share about being a woman, or even about your perspective of women? We're open. We just want to hear from you.
I also think I'd like to hear from those, you know, if you want to share your experience about, you know, what's it like just existing in the female zone. Because oftentimes people ask me if I could have been a male, would I have been a male? I'm like, I don't know. Or, you know, if I could have been a different race, I don't know. I mean, I don't think about it. Yeah, people ask these questions all the time. But at the end of the day, they are weird questions. They are. But I always get weird questions in my business, in my line of business. But I want to hear the full female experience. So if you're in the LGBTQIA community and you want to share it, you know, I'd love to hear those stories. I have a limited scope. I'm a cisgender, heterosexual woman. I want to hear them all because it ain't easy. It ain't easy. I'm not saying it's easy being a male either, but man, sometimes I'm like, ladies, we got it hard. We got it hard.
We do indeed. On that note, thank you for listening, and we will be back next week with more messy truth.
to more messiness.
Peace, folks.
Peace.